Since we've been slacking a little bit, we'll try to do better on our jobs to keep you, uh,
Inside
up,
some big talks.
yeah, updated on everything that's happening in the sports world. So, first and foremost, we're just gonna get right into it. We see that two-time Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey is asking for a trade out of Jacksonville. What is going on with Jalen and Doug that they just can't get it together? And Jalen wants out of Jacksonville after only 2 seasons.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. What was hilarious? I seen on Twitter somebody was trying to hype up Doug Marone. It was like, oh man, my dad and him were in the same neighborhood in New York. Jalen doesn't want to mess. He said Jalen Ramsey doesn't want to mess with old, middle aged, out of shape NFL coach. Jalen Ramsey is one of the most well conditioned athletes in the NFL. You mean to tell me you think Doug Marone can take that man? Like, what do you have to be drinking?
Man, I don't know. Some people just talk to talk. I don't know, what's going on out there. But immediately when he requested this trade, teams were like throwing themselves at him, offering first rounders and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not even sure like if he doesn't want to play for Jacksonville because he's still saying that he'd like to play against the Titans if he's still there. So I don't, this
So
is
what's
different.
interesting, the story last year was coming out was like he wanted an extension, but Jacksonville doesn't want to give him the extension. For whatever reason, some people
Ah, okay.
inside the league think it's because he talks a lot of trash, and that's not the way Tom Coughlin likes his players. So he doesn't want an extended contract. That's why this
We know
training
what kind of
camp
players Tom
he's
Coughlin likes.
yeah, we know
Bums.
those white bread always follow orders. Kevin Boss, Eli Manning, but that's why during training camp he had the Brinks trucks, and he's like he's not no more discounts. And last year there's like a whole bunch of audio surfacing on the internet that he was saying that his favorite team growing up was the Titans, and he would love to play for his favorite team. But
Jalen
he
Ramsey
also
said that?
said yes, and he
Oh yeah,
also
nah, they
said
ain't letting
that
him in the division. They would not do that.
no,
I
there's
would
no
love to
way.
see it, but
And
they will not do that.
I would love to see it too, but I'd love to see the other team he requested a lot more because he said he wants to play in Vegas. He said he wants to
Really?
play for the. Yes, he said there's no taxes. No, there's no no state taxes in Vegas. There's none in California, and I'm pretty sure there's none in Florida. But yeah, he said he wants to play for either Tennessee or Vegas. How ironic is that?
That is crazy. That is wow. Maybe one of us has a big day. um,
Oh man, that'd be insane. I hope he doesn't go to the Titans. You guys got who you got? Bayard, and
oh yeah,
Jalen Ramsey.
top paid
Oh, and
free
Malcolm
safety in the
Butler.
league.
Oh man.
Hey man, I don't,
Oh
a lot of my fan base there not too hot on the Dory Jackson. He made a big bonehead play, which gave up a really easy touchdown against the Colts last week. You know what I'm saying? He's a player on my team, so I'm all for him, and I understand young guys are gonna make mistakes, but uh, what I was gonna get to say
you
is
know.
that whatever team Jalen Ramsey goes to, regardless of how the owner feels about him, this man's gonna make an impact. He's been
Oh
making an
yes.
impact in the
Oh
league since he's been
yes.
here. Whoever he plays for, I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a standout quarterback cornerback.
So apparently, Jalen's been frustrated with the defensive schemes they've been running the past 2 years. He's more so a man coverage guy, and he struggles
Uh,
with zone. So they're playing a lot of zone in Jacksonville more than he likes. So he likes to go man. He's got a lot of endorsements from like wide receivers like DeAndre Hopkins, who said he's the only guy who can like shadow him in the league, and those are some pretty big endorsements from the best wide receivers in the
Jeez.
league.
Right, right, right. Um, yeah, it's what I noticed today. I think he tweeted and said that neither him nor his agent wanted this information to be leaked out. So, do you think that the Jacksonville organization leaked this information out, or how did it get there,
Oh,
or
big
are
time.
him and his agent lying? What do you think's going on there?
Nah, big time. So like they're just trying to they're trying to smear some doo doo on his name on the way out of the door, so it make him seem like he's locking in cancer. It's probably not the case, but like teams always leak information like that. Like the Cowboys leaked a whole bunch of information. They leaked how Jerry Jones felt on Tony Pollard, I think. backing up Zeke. He can run he could run the offense if he needs to as the number one running back. And Zeke didn't like that, so that expedited and sped up extension talks. So that they do that type of thing all the time. But I definitely think Jacksonville leaked that information. I would not be surprised
You
with
think that
like
it's likely? It's Tuesday night now. You think that it's likely that he is traded before the Thursday night game against the Titans, or you think he ends up suiting up Thursday night?
it will be kind of insane for them to after all that let him suit up for the game on Thursday night.
But they may still
Um,
not. But he may still be on the roster. You think?
yeah, I think they might if he's still on the roster, just send him home. Let him stay there until a trade. That lets other teams know that they're actively shopping him instead of I don't know what the stigma is in the NFL about these old white men hate players being vocal about wanting trades. If your leadership is bad in your organization and confident, why does a player have to waste their talent there? Why
I hear
shouldn't they
that.
demand a trade? I don't
They don't want them
understand.
speaking out. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess that's for them essentially. That's bad for business. You know what I'm saying? Which at the end of the day, I don't feel like it should matter because if Jalen says that your team is trash, if I come over there and I found out that your team is trash, it's like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
It doesn't really matter if he had said this or not. Once I got here, I was going to find out for myself. So,
Exactly.
I'm not
It's
sure.
crazy, bro. I don't understand it either. They're used to be oh, if you want to trade, they're gonna ship you to a bad team or even worse team. But that team loses. There's no way Jalen's gonna sign an extension to a bad team that he doesn't want to be at. And no team's gonna get a rental for 1 year. Especially not a bad team. What's the point of that? To sell tickets? No, thank you.
Yeah, no,
Nobody's gonna
thank
come
you.
out and see Jalen Ramsey and fucking well, I would say Buffalo, but they're not. They're actually winning. Nobody's gonna come see him in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Week 16, he's not gonna help sell tickets. Come on, bro, use your head.
So, speaking of selling tickets, do you think that this is what this is about in New York? Do you think Daniel Jones is going to sell tickets for the New York Giants? It's been a long 15 years that Eli Manning has been starting for the Giants, and just, I was going to say giving the fans tears, but he's won some Super Bowls with them, so,
Well, according to the numbers, he had a pretty average career, but he's had those two big Super Bowl wins, those crazy playoff runs. He's had probably two or three really good seasons. The rest of that, he led the league in interceptions three times. Like if we're talking about any other player besides somebody enriched in Manning royalty, there's no way we're talking about that player getting Hall of Fame. But since it's Eli, he's probably going to Canton. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't cast my vote on Eli getting to Can. I mean, maybe eventually. I definitely don't think that he should be a first round Hall of Fame bid, like in the
Yeah,
slightest.
I don't. I mean, the Mannings are so well respected. I doubt they make him wait. Especially because his exit out of New York is probably not the ideal exit that anybody in his family had envisioned. But that's on Eli. That's on Eli. He's not making throws that he should be able to make. What do you think's going to happen? Other men in this organization, coaches, assistant coaches, quarterback coaches, their jobs are on the line. You want them to just hold out hope that you're gonna get your shit together?
Get
No,
together,
it's
yeah,
on
no,
you.
right,
Come on, bro. You knew this was coming. It's a business at the end of the day, and no matter what your last name is, you have it's a business. It
yeah.
shouldn't. It shouldn't have took the Giants
Eventually, you
this
have to
long in the first
produce.
place.
That's it. I don't. I agree. I don't think that it should have. But I mean, that's also a tough call because he's been in the organization. Loyalty is a big thing, and it should be a big thing, for a lot of people. There's people that believe that Eli Manning could get traded out of New York, go somewhere, and potentially produce. Now, I don't know if that's true. You know what I'm saying? He'd have
I
to
would
give him
love to see him
a
go to
chance
the
and
Jets. That'd be great.
go to the Jets. Right
Go
now,
to the
yeah,
Jets.
they could definitely use somebody like Eli Manning. I'm not sure many other fits for him right now in the NFL. But that actually might be a nice landing spot for him. I doubt that it would happen. I feel like
I
if
doubt it too.
anything, he probably won't go anywhere until next season. If he does go somewhere else, You know what I'm saying? The Giants, they might do what they did last year. You know what I'm saying? They might put this kid in and they might be like, we think we made a mistake. Let's put Eli back in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, what did
Because,
they do that last year with Gino, or was that two
yes,
years
or
ago?
Gino or somebody, I can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, but yes, they gave someone else a chance and they were like, we're going to renege on this. Eli, get back in the game. And, you
Yeah,
know,
that was Ben McAdoo. That's right. I
it,
remember that.
it wasn't like,
It was crazy. Pat Schumer, I think it was last week, but oh, no, it's this week. So if he doesn't win this week, he won't match the win total of Ben McAdoo by the time he's fired. Now, mind you, Ben McAdoo, I think his first season, I think they won 11 games or they won 10 games, one or the other. And then the next season, they weren't that great. I think they only won four. But he still had a winning season, and then the next season didn't go as planned. You know, that has to fall on Eli somewhere, and Ben McAdoo gets fired. I don't understand what Giant management's doing. I don't get it.
right.
But
New York
like
management from football to basketball to soccer is atrocious. It's just
I
like,
don't know about soccer, but I could agree to basketball. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, are you guys even trying anymore? Like, do you see what the rest of the league's doing? Like, you guys got like a 15-year vet, and he's not even great. He hasn't been good for a long time. Like, you guys are just like, oh, you know, he won us two championships. We gotta let him play as long as he wants. It's the same thing with what's the kicker in Indianapolis? Like, come on, you gotta
Vinatieri.
step down. Yes, you gotta
Yeah.
step down. You're gonna lose them games. Like, I think the Colts are 2-0, right?
I don't know. No, they're 1-1. They lost to the
1-1.
Chargers in overtime week 1, and then they beat us week 2.
Yeah. So like those games, he could have lost in those games, missing all those extra points and those field goals. Like you have to hang it up, like for the sake of your organization, bro. Like you're holding a roster spot for somebody who could probably do your job better than you can right now, but you're holding on for God knows what reason.
Cause it's
But
it's tough to call, you know what I'm saying, especially in the league like the NFL, you know what I mean. I don't know, like, I don't think Adam was missing the way he is this season. I'm not sure how many misses that he does have this season. I know he did miss PAT or a field goal or a regular field goal against us. I don't know what the case was week 1, but you know that over time that Adam has hit. You know what I'm saying? Like just look at like who was I think struggling with kickers like the Bucks. You know what I mean?
Mason Crosby last year, he
Like
missed like
oh my
four of the
god, yeah, you
games.
know what I'm saying? It's that is it's tough to get rid of a guy that you know that's been kicking field goals over years to bring in someone that you're not really sure, you know what I'm saying? Someone that's you haven't really seen in game situations, you've maybe only got to see film, and it's really tough, you know what I'm saying? Like I would think that the organization would have seen signs from Vinatieri throughout the offseason if they were going to, you know what I'm saying, move on. But I would have to believe that he's been kicking well throughout the summer, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, for them
probably.
to keep him here and not move on. But well, you know, like I said, the season is still early. Like that is the type of guy that I have faith in that could just turn it around and start putting up numbers and field goals again, man. I think it's too early to count him out. But is it too early to count Big Ben out? Because Big Ben
Oh,
just suffered an injury that's gonna sideline him for the rest of the season. And what really had concerned me was they had just traded away their backup quarterback. I believe it was Joshua Dobbs. The Steelers did.
Josh Dobbs. Yeah.
They traded him
Which
away. I feel like they just claimed is his name like Paxton or something like that from the waivers?
Paxton Lynch came in.
Paxton.
Yeah, Paxton
Yeah,
Lynch came in.
that is gonna be a interesting sight for the Steelers, man. I don't. After watching that,
What do you think? What do you think the state of mine is in Pittsburgh? Do you think they try to win games the rest of the season, or like I mean they kind of have to. They traded their first round pick for what's that safety? I think his name is Minka Fitzpatrick.
yeah,
They
Minka
they wasted
Fitzpatrick.
their first round pick on him. I mean, I don't think it's a waste because he can be better than whoever they might have drafted. But like that might be a really high draft pick. You guys don't even have a stable quarterback right now. They're winless. Don't have a stable quarterback, and now you don't have a first round pick. So like this is turning into a nightmare season for Tom Coughlin. Not Tom Coughlin.
Mike
Mike
Tomlin.
Tomlin, who's never, yeah, he's never had a losing season. Like he finished 8-8 a couple times. For the most part, he's had winning seasons, and this is exactly the type of situation like most people who hate Mike Tomlin or Steeler fans have been waiting for, so they can get him out of Pittsburgh. I don't think the Steelers organization would like give him the boot just yet because a lot of it isn't his fault. And like they are trying, like they went and got a safety because their defense have been pretty bad, even though in the preseason, like it's any indication, they've been pretty decent. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting for the Steelers. Well, I heard that Big Ben got Tommy John surgery, and I know that's a big deal in baseball. Don't know how that's going to translate to the NFL. And I know it's just a rumor. We don't know if that's the type of surgery he's requiring. But I'd be interested in it because I see it's an elbow injury, and it might be something that he aggravated through the summer because they said he didn't get hurt on like he got hurt throwing the ball. So
Okay.
like it wasn't no one hit him
No
or
one
like
hit
he
him or
might have
anything
like
like that.
yeah
Okay.
like he might have got hit and like the elbow got banged up, but on the play where like he just threw the ball and didn't get touched and he just grabbed his elbow. So I was like, what was that? So like
Okay.
maybe we'll learn more. I don't know what type of surgery it'll require, but yeah, tough season for the Steelers. They lose AB no, first they lose Livion, then they lose AB, lose Big Ben, they lose their first round pick. Like man, Pittsburgh fans, I feel for you.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be a tough. But going with your first question, what do they do? Over history, just my young time of watching football, Pittsburgh they've always been fighters. Mike Tomlin seems like he's a fighter. I'm not sure what's going on with the coaching. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of fans talking about they think it's time he has to go. I don't know if that's like if he's actually doing a bad job over there or if that's just how people get like emotional after a couple of losses. I'm not gonna lie. After we lost to the Colts, you know what I mean. Like I was telling all like a lot of Titans fans that it was very weird to me that we were only a 3-point favorite to the Colts after beating the shit out of the Browns. So I wouldn't have been really surprised if we lost and we lose. Like at first I was like, man, F football, like what's like what's going on here? Like
Right,
how we losing to the
right.
Snake Coats? But I had to kind of like humble myself. Like man, Jacoby Brissett is an NFL quarterback. You know what I'm saying? The Colts obviously think that he's pretty decent enough. The game was started, they gave him money 2 years to say like, hey man, let's see if you could do this. And he went out there and he played football and he won the game. You know what I'm saying? So things like this happen. I think that the Steelers are gonna try to fight. They still have pieces. I think adding Finkel was, great for the defense. They still got that running back. I can't remember his name. I think it's like James Conner or something like that. Got a
Oh,
pretty
for
decent
the
for the
Colts.
no for the Steelers.
Oh yeah, it's Connor. Yes.
Connor, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I think if the line is good and they can lean on him to get some yards, I think the Steelers will try to fight. You know what I'm saying to make a chance to do something. I do not see the Steelers ever just like laying down and giving up. And if they do end up laying down and give up, I think it may be the end of the Mike Tomlin era. Don't quote me on that, but that's what it seems
It
like
might
it
be.
could be.
Yeah, the stars are lining up that way. I hate to see it that way, but like, what can you do after this, man? First round picks gone, quarterbacks gone, running backs gone, wide receivers gone. Like, it's like he ran talent out of the out of Pittsburgh and ran talent on the ground in Pittsburgh. It's like there's nothing's really his fault. Like some things are like out of his control. Like Le'Veon Bell wanted more money. Like does he control like how much money he can give out? I don't think so. Does he control? Can he control how crazy AB was acting? I don't think so. Like can he control Big Ben like throwing teammates under the bus, causing friction on the team? No, I don't think so.
All right,
that's
yeah.
a lot of things. There's a lot of things that's not his fault. A lot of things are his fault. Like he had that leaked speech a couple years ago, and he was calling the Patriots assholes and stuff like that, and then calling them cheaters. And I think Le'Veon had went live during his speech, and like that stuff had got out to the media, and he had to apologize and stuff like that. But I don't think a lot of the things that's happening in Pittsburgh is necessarily his fault. But he's going to be holding the bag. That's what
Yeah,
happens
that's
when
that's
you're
what
your head
happened when
coach.
you're in that position. Yeah, exactly. I think we're seeing eye to eye on that one. I don't, I think it just might be timing. Sometimes it's just timing. During his tenure at Pittsburgh, I think he did great, and sometimes it's just time to move on, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I was talking to Marco the other day, and he was kind of sad, asking like what the Saints were gonna do. Because Drew
Oh,
Brees just took an injury too. I had forgot though. He reminded me. I forgot that they had Teddy Bridgewater as the backup. So I told him I don't think that he should be as concerned as he is right now because I feel like Teddy's a pretty decent backup to have on the squad. What does interest me is another thing we were talking about is it's a tough call with having players play or not because I was reading reports like as I was watching the Texans versus Saints game. That's who they played week one.
mhm.
Drew Brees just seemed to be a little off. And someone was telling me that there was reports that he hadn't fully healed from his injury during the offseason. I'm starting to
What
think the
injury did he
same.
sustain?
I'm starting to think the same thing with Cam Newton. Drew Brees had I think it was the same thing, a shoulder injury. I just don't think that his
Ah,
shoulder was fully prepared. I'm not sure if he was ready to get back in there and play. But it's tough when you're dealing with grown men. Like I was playing to Marco. Like if I tell the coach that I want to get in the game and play, and I'm the starter, he knows I'm his guy. He's probably gonna put me in the game and play. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
a
that's
it's a thin
likely.
line between these guys like the love for their health versus their love for the game. You know what I mean? Like I don't think if I was Sean Payton and Drew told me that he was ready to play, like all I can do is take what I get from him and from the doctors, and if they're both saying that he
Yep.
can play, you know what I mean. I'm probably gonna put him out there. I hate to see that this is what it's led to now. That now he's probably like re-injured it or just injured it, and now he's out a few weeks. But I think that that's a tough position that a lot of these people have to, these men, these coaches and players have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like especially like how we saw LeBron sit out. A lot of people were like upset with him about that, but I feel like maybe things like these are reasons why. You know what I mean? Like if I don't feel
Right.
like I'm healthy enough to go out there, I'm not gonna risk my health for the organization, especially when we see how these organizations deal with players nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's
Like
just
the
like,
Derrick Rose situation. Like he went out
right,
there after his ACL injury, and then I think he like tore his meniscus the next season or something like that. And then he sat out that whole year, and then people were like, "Oh, he's healthy. Why doesn't he play?" He just wanted to be 100%. And then he came back. He had an okay playoff run, and then the Bulls traded him to the Knicks, and everyone was upset about that. I remember he had a documentary, like he was doing this little commercial for he was doing this little press run for Adidas, and he got news that he was getting traded, and he broke down and he cried. But like, and, you think the organization cares? They don't. They're just gonna do what's best for them. So like, when something like the Eli Manning situation comes around, I get it. Bleed them for all they're worth. But at the same time, if you love the organization, I don't think you should put them in that position to make that call. Like this is the second time, Eli. Come on, bro. Like they already sat you down. You knew this was coming. You could have retired with grace twice since then, but you chose not to.
yo, man, these kids. I don't call them kids because they're men, but these men have been playing football their whole lives, man. This is all they know. They love the game. Like,
I
I
get
feel
it.
for
I get it.
I feel for Eli on this sense, man. Like this, you're not telling me that I can't play football anymore. Only I am going to tell me that I can't play
Exactly.
football
I, I
anymore.
I hear I hear you, bro. But like when you got you like you're Eli Manning, right? You see everybody. You see somebody who's like a walk on, basically like Victor Cruz, and then you see somebody like Mario Manningham or David Tyree making miracle catches. Who doesn't get any burn on your roster, or you get Odell Beckham. Like you see all this different level of talent. The only thing that like remain like the only constant between all those players is they were very young when they were very good, and you're no longer young. Like not everybody's a freak of nature like Tom Brady. He's not even a freak of nature. He's like steady. He takes care of his body. He's really like into his body. He's cautious about what he puts in his body. He's really healthy. He's always prepared. So like he's trying to make sure his body doesn't break down. I mean, will it happen? I don't know. It likely to happen. The man's like 42 years old. He's about to be 43. but it hasn't happened yet. And a lot guys a little bit younger than him are breaking down, like Drew Brees, Cam Newton. I heard Cam Newton had the same injury Andrew Luck had 2 years ago, and he
Yeah,
just got a procedure done on his arm instead of getting the same surgery. Because I think Andrew Luck got that surgery done like overseas or something, because it's not regulated in the U.S. or something.
and we can see with Cam Newton that that procedure does not make him look like he is at 100%. I'm not sure that Cam Newton is at 100% and should be out there on the field, but like we're talking about right now, this is a tough call when this is pretty much all these men know and they love it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough when you love the sport to look in the mirror and just be like, I need to sit down. I understand that this is these men's job, but they're actually, I'd like to think for the most part that the majority of NFL players are living a life or maintaining a job that they love doing. Um,
Yeah,
so the other what was it? Last night actually, the Cleveland Browns came out and beat the shit out of the Jets. Kind of surprised me. I'm
you,
glad I didn't
I,
put a bet on because I was definitely feeling that the Jets would have played a better game. I mean, I didn't expect Trevor Simeon to go down like that, nor did I know that Sam Darnold had mono and wasn't going to be playing in the game. I think I need to be more informed before I'm going to place a bet, and that's why. But what really interests me is that this backup kid Falk came in and threw
he didn't play
20.
bad.
He threw 20 for 25, bro. That is
He
80%.
did.
You know what
He
I'm
didn't play
saying? Like
bad.
he wasn't like I don't know what his receivers are like. I don't know if he had like very many. Yeah, I forgot he's got Anderson over there. That's a little speedster. He's got Crowder. So I don't. Yeah, he didn't look bad at all. I'm curious to see. Maybe they just don't need Eli. Maybe this kid will come and show us something. I did like what I saw out of Beckham. He had 6 catches for 161 yards. That one-handed catch down the
Oh
sideline. That was beautiful.
oh
I
yeah,
don't think
oh
many
yeah.
many are gonna be able to reenact that. Baker didn't look too bad. He threw for 325 yards. It's crazy, man. Because I was talking to this kid. I actually have a bet going on with this dude. What is his name? I can't even remember the kid's name right now. I should probably remember so I can get my money when it's time for payment. But he thinks that the Browns are gonna lose by at least 21 two more times this year. I bet him $100 that I don't think that that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, 20 by 21 they got. Well, okay, so their schedule is like it's softening up. So the Steelers, they don't have a quarterback right now, so they might implode. So they face them twice. They got the Ravens, could be a tough matchup for them. The Bengals, Andy Dalton hasn't looked too bad yet, but they still don't have an O line around him.
on
So
the
I
rest of
mean,
their schedule, the only team I potentially see. Okay, so they got the Rams. The Rams could end up beating them by 21. I don't think it's gonna
oh yeah,
happen at home, but the Rams could do it. And then they play the Patriots. If these two teams, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if they don't get blown out by the Rams, I feel like I got a safe bet there. You know what I'm saying? I don't see too many
I
other teams doing
I
it. The
got a weird
Patriots,
feeling. I think they beat the Patriots.
I think that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that that is
Because
that's a possibility.
it's not. I don't think it's because the Patriots aren't better than the Browns. I think the Patriots are way better than the Browns, but the Patriots are so inconsistent in September, and like they've been looking great in September. So like they've got to get losing out their system at some point, and
At
they
some
always
point, and they
lose.
always lose to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be the bum Dolphins in Miami or
Oh
something like
god,
that, they always
the
give
Titans from
one or
last
two up.
year,
Yeah,
like
you
they
know.
always give up a bad loss somewhere down the line. So they got to lose eventually. There's no way they're going undefeated. I don't think. I don't like Tom Brady's 42. I don't think they're going to be undefeated. But
You keep saying
who
Tom Brady
knows?
42, man. Stop coming from my man's age, all right? The man is
It's
42 and he looks
relevant.
amazing. It's what's relevant. What's relevant
It's
is that he
relevant.
looks amazing at 42. That's what we need to be talking
Once
about.
once
He
he no
looks like he
longer
can
looks like
play till he's 50, bro.
once he no longer ages like wine and ages like bread, you're gonna look at me like, all right, man, he's 42, all right. He's 42. Can't
I
make all those
don't
throws anymore.
foresee that happening this season. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in another 2 or 3 years. But right now, Tom Brady looks like he is 32, not 42. That is the way.
32.
That is the way he's
Man's
playing.
out of his mind.
So we got another Thursday night football game coming up. Hopefully, the showing is not as bad as that Buccaneers Panthers game. Did you get a chance to see that? Like that was awful.
Oh yeah, I watched it.
Oh my
I don't know if it
god.
was. So I watched the first half. I had my comments about Jameis, and I was like, I'm glad. We didn't get Jameis because Jameis makes Derek Carr look so much better. And then literally right after I tweeted that, like
He
they
starts
like Cam
turning
Newton
up.
and Jameis Winston, yeah, like they switched bodies, they switched talent. Like he just started making crazy throws. Like Jameis makes plays. Like nobody's disputing that, but like. It's like he heard what I said and I pissed him off or something. Like he made those plays in spite of me.
He definitely came to show up. So this Thursday we got the Titans playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is at home. I feel like we play Jacksonville on Thursday night a lot. I don't know if it's always like a divisional thing. I would love to see that this be a bounce back game for us losing to the coach. You know what I'm saying? With all the things going on in the well, I can't say all the things, but they got this Jalen Ramsey issue going on in Jacksonville. They got AJ Boye questionable with a hip injury.
Oh,
Uh,
AJ Boyer is hurt.
they
Wow,
they
that's
lost
interesting.
they lost Foles. So he's down. What's interesting to me is that
I like
we're only a
Gardner
2 point
Minshew. All
favor
right,
to this guy. Yeah,
I
he
love.
he is that's the backup that came in and
Yes, yes.
yeah
He's
he
got so much sauce. Right now, it's crazy. Like he walks around dressed like a 1974 porn star. He's got the mustache. He's got the chest hair out. Like he is like I don't know who's his stylist, but he needs to pay them more. Like they're making him look like a superstar.
Yeah, well, yo, he's
Like it's
making
added.
himself look like a superstar on the field, bro. He's thrown for 88% and he has thrown for 70%, 97.2 rating against Texas, and I think he had a let's see, and he had a 122.5 rating against Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? So it seems
Mm,
like the defense may just be their issue, and maybe that's what's causing the
mm-hmm.
things going on in Jacksonville. But I don't expect this to be an easy game for us in the slightest. Like I said, we have to bounce back after that losing against the Colts. Hopefully we had some conversation in the locker room.
I'd rather for you, like, if you guys have an easier game against Jacksonville because there's so much dysfunction going around than the Raiders have. We got beat down by the Chiefs, and now we have to go to Minnesota. We have a 48-day stretch with no home games.
Mm.
Zero. And then one of those games, we have to go to London and play the Bears. And that's supposed to be one of our home games. So we get 7 home games this year instead of 8. So, which is crazy. It's our last year in the Coliseum, but we get 7 home games. We might get 6, actually. I think we were supposed to have another one. I think maybe in Mexico City. I don't think we're going to play Mexico City, but I think I read that. Maybe. But, you guys
So
have
what
an easier time
what
with the
happened in this
Jags.
game? I remember I got to check my phone for a minute. You guys were up 10-zip. Somebody in my group chat was talking about because this dude, he was saying that he thinks that we should bet on the Raiders all year. He thinks that there's big money in betting on the Raiders, and it might be because
Oh, there
a lot of
definitely
times
is.
that you guys are going to be the underdogs. It's just like in this Chiefs game, you guys are going to be the underdogs against the Vikings. But I mean, it seems like the defense after the second quarter, you guys got lit up. They came back and they decided that, we're not going to let them score anymore. I don't know if the Chiefs let off the gas. I don't. Did you see it? What happened? I was at work.
Yeah, so what happened was they just wanted to piss me off. No, so the first quarter we shut out the Chiefs, right? And Mahomes was like, "Oh, that ankle's hurt," and the ankle's bothering. Paul Gunther was lights out the first quarter. Making great calls. And so what happens is they double up the coverage over, so they bring help protection all day, and they watch Sammy Watkins. So they have safety help over the top watching Sammy Watkins. They're backing up on Sammy Watkins. They have another burner. I forget his name. It's like DeAndre something. I feel like he was like number 1 or number 15. He killed us. Like he was pressing against a safety. He was pressing against Carl Joseph, who he's in a contract year, so he wants to play well. He wants to get paid. So he burned him touchdown, and like they were pressing him. They were pressing him, and there was a couple bad calls. A couple roughing the pass, a couple offensive, a couple of holding calls. I wasn't really holding. So like they just basically challenged everybody else to beat us, and like this guy, I think DeAndre something. I can't remember his name. I gotta look up the
DeAndre
name.
Robinson.
Yeah, he killed us. I think twice over the top, twice for touchdowns. And then like when we ran back to our regular cover two, we went cover three a couple times. Then we went cover zero.
Wow.
Travis Kelce gets open over the top, and Carl Joseph was on him. Joyner's on him a couple of times. Like it was just like 4 plays that we challenged Patrick Mahomes at the line, and he made us pay. And then so they went back to the conservative play calling from the first quarter because they wanted to make plays because we were going to back them up, and they broke loose. We were going to back them up again, and then they broke loose. There was a field goal range, and they broke loose. So like we were just they gambled, we lost. So we played a better half. The second half, I think the Chiefs didn't really want to run up the score on us because it's a rivalry game. You don't want somebody to punch you in the mouth next time you see him. So like we want to return that karma. So I think they let off the gas a little bit. There was a couple good plays out of the Raiders.
So I try to give some credit to the defense. You don't think it was the defense at all?
I mean, the defense. Come on, bro. Like, why would after we got burnt that first play, and it's 10-10. No, it was like 7-10. We're still up. I'm like, all right, maybe not press them anymore. But then they pressed him 3 more times, and then he burned him a second time. And then Travis Kelce had no one-on-one with the safety. The safety, the corner that he was on, he's basically a cornerback, bro. He's not a big safety. He's not a big boy. He's like 5'9". He's like 230 pounds. So like Travis Kelce just reached over and got a touchdown pass, bro. I was just like, what? What are you guys doing? It's like you guys don't know who you're playing. And then the second half, slowed him down. The Chiefs slowed down. So, I mean, I am optimistic about what the defense can be, but I mean, definitely way better than last year. But and then we got our play calling got predictable. Once you got down, I think we got down 17, or it was like 21-10. We had to start passing, and then they're gonna put more DBs out there than linebackers. So it was harder for us to pass, and we couldn't run because we were trying to beat the clock a couple times. And there was a whole bunch of other things. So I don't think we played a bad game. It was just situational football, and the Chiefs just outthought. Andy Reid outthunk Paul Gunther. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah,
And then the defense teed off on us because we had to pass, so it was pretty obvious what we had to do. So, and then what's his name? Frank Clark and that other guy they got on the line, not D40 anymore. Frank Clark and I can't remember his name. The other the DE they have in Kansas City. He's probably going to sack Derek Carr another time because I can't remember his name. But we can't keep him away all game. But our rookie running back, he had I think 97 yards off of 6 carries. So I mean, our offense is pretty good. We're gonna go with Minnesota, probably wake them up a little bit because Kirk Cousins, awful interception in the end zone. He was I think Stephon Diggs was triple covered, and he still tried to throw it to him. It's horrible. So, I mean, with my luck, Kirk Cousins is going to light us up. I don't think he will, but it'll just be my luck if he does. But I think our defense is much improved. I like our chances against Minnesota this Sunday, so I think we could beat them. I don't like Xavier Rhodes on Travis. Damn, I can't remember our number one receiver now. I want to say it's Williams or Tyreek Williams. I think his name is.
I'm
He
not
got
sure.
for the Chargers. Yeah, I don't like that match because he's a number 2 and he's not exactly a burner. And Xavier Rhodes is a really good cornerback. So, and I think they got Harrison Smith in Minnesota too. So I don't like those matchups at all. But I have confidence that we can beat them.
That's gonna be a good game. I think I'm gonna hold off my predictions until Saturday. I'm gonna get a little more informed. But before
Here's
we close,
a spoiler: we're gonna win.
all right. Before we close out here, let's what do you think what's your prediction for this Thursday night football game, Titans versus Jaguars? Mine is gonna be a little biased, but I'll let you say yours first.
So what's the spread on the game?
We are a 1.5-point favorite to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They think that it is going to be a close game.
You think? Well, I don't know if it's close. It depends on Jalen playing, and we don't know if Jalen's going to be I don't think he will. I think he'll be professional if he plays. But just for the sake of conversation, what if he it's Moody doesn't want to play the defense that's called and does his own thing out there? They'll bench him, obviously, but what if that situation happens? That's going to cause some chaos out there, and the Titans
I
going to
be
be
it's
infinite threat.
curious.
So I
I'm
think the
curious to
Titans
see
going to win.
if the coaches, even like put him out there. After saying that he doesn't want to play, and like, even if he wants to play, you know, you've already said that you don't want to be a part of this organization anymore. So we that that is something that we will see. There'll probably be more information about that out tomorrow night. But I think if he plays or if he doesn't play, that we will come out and get this victory. Like I said, we've got to bounce back. This wish I could look up our record on these Thursday night against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I feel like these are the games that we win against the Jacksonville Jaguars on these Thursday night football.
I
Um,
think you guys sweep them this year, man. I think this is your year to sweep them. You guys always had trouble with divisional rivals. I don't know why. Like you would think one of the teams would take advantage of another team being not that great, but they always just it's always dogfights. It's like I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Like Kansas City's gonna beat the teams they're supposed to beat even in the division, but you guys in the AFC South, it's always a
it's always
dogfight.
a
Like the
dogfight.
Titans
Trust me,
struggled
I
with the
know.
Colts, and it's
Struggle
like
bad,
why
man.
are these? Yeah, it's just like why are these teams? Why are these games so close? They're so much different. Like the teams are so much different than they were a year ago, and it's still hard for one team to dominate.
It's crazy,
It's
man.
crazy.
Well, what I can say for the Titans is that in the last four games against the Jaguars, we have won. We are 4-0 in the last four games against the
Oh,
Jacksonville Jaguars.
nice. I
The
think
last
you
time we
guys move
played
up to
them,
5-0.
we won 30-9, and yeah, I agree. I think that we will move up to 5-0. Hopefully, Derrick Henry has another 99-yard touchdown, runs a couple
Ah,
people over, and we walk out there with the victory. But
yeah, I
that
think so too, man.
that'll be that for tonight. We will catch up with you guys again, hopefully on Saturday. Give our predictions for Sunday. Maybe talk a little college football. I forgot to talk about AB and farting in front of his doctor. So we will hold off on that until Saturday, and we will catch you guys then.